let's continue playing this game here and bringing up names, and I'll go to you next, Aaron, on a dynasty question, and then I'll finish off with you, Dylan, and I'll end up giving you Antonio Gibson. So, Terry
Aw.
McLaurin, Aaron, dynasty for Terry McLaurin, a guy that we're seeing all these wide receivers get paid. Cooper Kupp, we talked about earlier, getting the bag. AJ Brown was another one of those guys. DK Metcalf's looking for his. Debo Samuel's looking for his. Really, I'm talking about those wide receivers who do not have a payday yet, and specifically Terry McLaurin, who has not gotten an extension on a team with uncertainty at the quarterback position, but he still ends up finding ways to produce. So in a dynasty league, if you are a Terry McLaurin owner, what are you doing with him? Are you looking to trade him? Are you comfortable with Terry McLaurin and his up in the air contract status on a team with Carson Wentz or possibly Sam Howell or Taylor Heineke?
I don't think the contract status matters, and I don't think the team that he plays for matters. If I have Terry McLaurin, I'm selling. And the reason I'm selling is because despite him having, adequate seasons, his name value is super high for whatever reason. People like him. And it doesn't matter where he's at. I think he's about what he is. I think he has the talent to be an excellent receiver, but he's probably a wide receiver too in best case scenario. I don't ever see him getting to the top 10 wide receivers. It's over 3 seasons. He's been at best wide receiver 20. I mean, and we said he's had good years. So you give him a better quarterback, you put him maybe in a better situation, but he's probably going to be seeing less targets in an offense where maybe there's another weapon. I think he's been the only offensive threat really for them out on the outside, and he's produced. He's done a really good job. If he's on your team, I'm not mad at it, but if I'm him, I think his name value actually has a lot more steam to it than where he's going to return, just because for whatever reason, people like to see that. They like to see a guy who's produced with no quarterback, no team, and perhaps being able to go somewhere else and produce. I would sell him because I think you can get a pretty good return for him.
Is this the best?
Go ahead,
Dylan. I was going to ask: is this the best quarterback that Terry McLaurin has had? It's Carson Wentz, Case Keenum, Colt McCoy.
I mean, Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz. Is there a real difference?
No, that's what that's what I'm saying. I think the biggest thing is it's not even, you can focus on, and we do this with wide receivers, obviously you focus on who's throwing them the ball, but you also have to look in, this is the best wide receiver 2 that Terry McLaurin has had on the opposite side. Well, we don't necessarily know what Jahan Dotson's going to be, but I'm very high on him. So in my opinion, I think this is the best wide receiver 2 he's had lined up on the other side of him to possibly take away targets. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, but it's not just him either. It's Antonio Gibson, it's J.D. McKissick, it's Curtis Samuel being healthy. Like, it's Brian Robinson now being in the backfield. Like, not that he's going to catch anything, but he'll, whatever. I don't buy so much into that. I think Terry McLaurin will be Terry McLaurin. He'll be a wide receiver 2, and he'll be good.
Okay. Dylan?
What if, this is what ifs. You got to play into dynasty world here. This guy goes to Green Bay whenever his contract's up. I mean, that'd be pretty sexy. I mean, you say
that, but you say that, but what happens if Christian Watson or somebody else comes out and has a good year this year? When have we ever seen the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay be any good?
When have we seen the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay been any good?
Yeah, recently, since Devontae Adams has been the one.
Okay,
but also you have to take into account how long is Aaron Rodgers there. You're talking dynasty. Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. You're not going to buy that.
All right, maybe Justin Fields has a good year. They go to Chicago. Houston.
When we look at this, though, Dylan, you just said it perfectly. In dynasty world, you kind of do have to play with the what ifs. Yeah. And if Terry McLaurin doesn't have a deal now, and we see the state of the franchise of Washington.
Exactly.
There is that possibility where Terry McLaurin might not even want to return to Washington. And obviously,
you can't play what if in dynasty. You can't play what if.
Enlighten me.
What if?
Because if you play
what if,
you don't think of contracts and stuff when you're getting these players.
Okay, so Terry McLaurin leaves, and now he's a free agent. Or if you want to talk what ifs, he's not signing at the end of the year. The what if is Washington's not letting him walk out the door, so they'll franchise tag him. He becomes Allen Robinson. Now he becomes disgruntled. So now you're like, does he play under the franchise tag? And guess what happens? If he does play next year, they can franchise him again. That's how the NFL works. You can assume he leaves. Let's say he does walk out the door. You just mentioned it. He goes to Houston for more money. He goes to Justin Fields in Chicago for more money.
It's a Kenny Galladay all over again.
Are you telling me you're so much more excited with Terry McLaurin going to Justin Fields playing in Chicago?
I think
in over being on Washington? No, you're not. It's the same situation.
I think with this though, and I'm not arguing with you here. I'm just playing the game of what ifs because I personally I've only been in one dynasty league, so I am a newer person to the dynasty world. So when if I had Terry McLaurin and if I was in that situation, I would be holding on to him only because I am hopeful that he does end up in a better situation. But I know in the back of my head, I've seen the quarterbacks that he's played with and performed well with to say, okay, I'm okay holding on to Terry McLaurin because I know even in the shittiest situation, the likelihood of him playing well is.
Let me ask you a question. Where do you have Terry McLaurin amongst wide receivers? Like just average ballpark ranking.
I have him as a wide receiver, a high-end wide receiver too. I have him up there with like you talk about like guys like I'd say I'd have Chris Godwin ahead of him, but not far ahead of him. I'd say that's kind of the line. I think that if that gives you a good gauge, I'd say him and Chris Godwin are right there.
So right now, if somebody right now gave you Chris Godwin for Terry McLaurin, you taking it?
No.
You're keeping Terry McLaurin.
I am because and I know Tom Brady is the ageless wonder.
T. Higgins or Terry McLaurin?
T. Higgins. Because he has Joe. I know that quarterback situation.
Okay, so my point being is right now I would venture to guess T. Higgins is probably ranked below Terry McLaurin. I don't know for sure, but if you get that trade offer, you're not turning that down. You're probably taking T. Higgins. And guess what T. Higgins' upside really is? Probably a wide receiver too. With Jamar Chase there.
Yep.
And that's what you're saying Terry McLaurin is. So it's his name value will get you a return in which his production will never get you. I guess that's my point. Is he's put up wide receiver 2 numbers. That's probably what it is. You could probably get more in return. And that's really what Dynasty is about. It's about value and getting the right value to move forward. If you can get a player and say a 3rd round draft pick with that or a 2nd round draft pick.
Let's look at it as someone in the same exact situation. DK Metcalf. Which would you rather have, DK or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin.
DK. Easy.
Terry McLaurin every day of the week.
Easy.
You want to know why? Because DK Metcalf's upside is top 5. Terry McLaurin's is not. And in Dynasty, that's what you're looking for. If you say what if, imagine if DK Metcalf goes and plays with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, hold on. Hold on. Let me. And again, not arguing here, just trying to get answers. If you see, we've seen Terry McLaurin play well with bad quarterbacks. You don't know what his ceiling could be with a good quarterback, but we've seen DK Metcalf with a good quarterback in Russell Wilson. That ceiling has come with a top quarterback in Russell Wilson.
We haven't seen DK Metcalf's ceiling.
Yeah, he's got Lockett. I'd like to see him.
You haven't seen DK Metcalf's ceiling. You've seen DK Metcalf play great, but you think top 7 is not DK Metcalf's ceiling. If DK Metcalf was on a team that give him Aaron Rodgers, you're going to see a top 5 receiver. Give him Patrick Mahomes, you're going to see a top 5 receiver. So Terry McLaurin's ceiling is the talent is not equivalent. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So when you talk about upside, you're looking at talent along with situation. Yes, Terry McLaurin has not had a great situation. DK has had a better situation with Russell Wilson. But if I'm playing the what if game, my what if for DK Metcalf, I know could be top 5. And I've already seen him, mind you, last year DK Metcalf in a bad season was wide receiver 14. Terry McLaurin's never been better than wide receiver 20. That tells me all I need to know.
Okay. Fair enough.
The best play of DK Metcalf's career was the tackle.
Jesus.